Welcome everybody to episode 146 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We're your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. We have two NBA finalists.
We do. Luka Magic is going to be on point, and actually the narrative I'm most looking forward to is the Kyrie revenge games. He seems like the type of guy that would hold a grudge, to be honest.
I feel like there's going to be an F you Kyrie kind of
Yeah.
feel in the Garden. Yeah. And he's going to thrive on it. Let's not dawdle around that. He is going to love it. He's going to lap up every minute.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I think most Lakers fans will be hardcore Dallas fans right now because we don't want Boston to get ahead on the championship count. So
I was quizzing you offline about this. So you need to explain this out a little bit because you've been so against Luka for the last sort of 12 months, and now all of a sudden you're all on board.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. Okay. So because you love the Lakers so much, you therefore hate the Celtics, which is why you're now supporting Dallas the end. So right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. If there's one thing that I don't want, and that is Boston to win the title.
I'm not 100% on board with this, but I'm okay with it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I do wish there was a scenario where neither team could win the title. Just cancel the season now.
God, you Lakers fans are salty, honestly.
Oh, no. Look, this is Luka's time. This is his opportunity. Cometh the moment. So,
yeah. All right, let's hold those Luka thoughts for a little bit because we've got a big announcement to make, Ad.
We do.
Well, June 30th, Melbourne Pavilion.
Yes.
Hobby Hangout. You Can't Comp This. We'll be there live podcasting. We are very excited about this. We are very honoured to be invited back.
We're back. That's right. We're back at the Hobby Hangout.
Yeah.
Sydney's happening in a couple of weeks, and we will be joining you guys in Melbourne.
Yeah. So Sydney's date is the 16th of June, which is obviously before the Melbourne one. So tickets are available thehobbyhangout.com.au. Also on the Melbourne panel, Lane Pearce will be there from the Hobby Australia. He is the headlining act, and so he should be. Very smart gentleman, very, very good at what he does. Matthew Payne will be hosting a panel. Double Coverage Boys will be there.
Yes.
Should be good to see them in action. Trading Card Zones and all of the people that you know with shops will be there. Matt's Card Shop will be there.
Yes.
Cherry Collectibles EJ Cards will be there. Fast Break Collectibles. Palms Off Gaming. So if you need some storage solutions for your cards,
yes,
go down and check them out.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
Huge. I'm very excited I can't wait to get involved again and start planning the day out, actually, mate. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Every time we've been down at the Hobby Hangout, it's been a heap of fun, and it's nice to be back. I'm looking forward to it. If you're in New South Wales, Sunday the 16th of June in Sydney, and then a couple of weeks later, the 30th of June in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And obviously we will be at the Melbourne one. But we'd like to hear from those that go to the Sydney one as well.
All right. Celtics versus the Mavericks. Who have you got, Ad?
The Los Angeles Dallas Mavericks.
Okay. So what's your analysis in this space? Why do you think that the Mavericks are going to win?
Why do I want the Mavericks to win? Because I don't want Boston to win. No. I think this is going to be a very interesting match. I do think Luka has taken a step this playoff series. Through these playoffs, you're really seeing the emergence of Luka as the guy on the team, which is great. But Kyrie Irving's support has been phenomenal.
Can I just pull you up on that for 2 seconds? Do you think that he has actually emerged, or do you think that you're just watching more Mavericks at the moment?
Ooh.
Because I do wonder about this. It's the same thing with small market teams, right? With Halliburton being in the conference finals, you can't tell me there wasn't more eyeballs on this guy. I wonder if there's still an element of people who don't see the Mavericks play that much. Now they're seeing him, every second day basically on their TV.
Yeah, I think it's more of he's now getting the job done. Like I've never had a problem or a concern with the way he puts up his numbers.
Sure.
But it's one of those, on the big stage, he's putting up the big numbers and they're getting the job done.
Yeah.
That's probably that's probably my take on it. Is I'm seeing Luka stand up when it matters. This is not a regular season game where it's important to drop 40. Like, this is we need to win now, and he's not shying away from it. Look, in the Timberwolves series, I think Anthony Edwards kind of overran his mouth and brought out finals Kyrie. So I don't know, when he targeted Kyrie and said he was going to guard Kyrie, you know that was probably not going to end well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a lesson learned. Jordan had to lose a couple of times in the playoffs before he tasted success. So,
yeah, definitely. And I think both of these guys, you could say the same thing about Tatum and Luke. You could say, well, they're still pretty young, but at the same time, Tatum, I feel like, has now been there a couple of times.
This is his time to.
It seems more logical that he would take the next step. And narrative-wise, you can sort of say, well, this is Luka's first time. But at the same time, I actually think the Mavs are going to win because I think both teams are going to have trouble matching up with each other. I think the Mavericks are going to have a hard time defending Tatum and also Brown, and then vice versa. I think the Celtics are going to have a lot of trouble defending Kyrie and Luka. And I think realistically, Luka is just so good at the moment in that he can either score or pass. And he can do it every single possession. It just doesn't... Let me rephrase that. He can score or assist. And there's not that many people in the NBA that can do that. Like, is he...
Yeah.
Who is it? Maybe Joker, Human...
LeBron does it.
Maybe prime LeBron?
Yeah.
Like I was going to say maybe Giannis.
We're not talking year 21 LeBron, but in the NBA Finals, he can be the guy that drops 40, but he can also get
maybe
12 assists. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm probably not as high on... Look, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to LeBron, but yeah, God, the guy's 40-something years old now. Like, it's... To do that every possession, I feel... Yeah. Anyway. So we did a little poll on the Facebook page. Very, very close. I think Celtics just edged that one out. Sorry, the Mavericks just edged that one out.
Yeah.
Which I actually think is a really good representation of how this series is going to go. I think it's going to be a back and forth type series, and there's going to be adjustments, and there's going to be some close games. So I'm super excited about that. I think now is a really good time for us to look through Luka pricing, and I actually want to look at his all-time pricing. So literally just go through it and summarize it all. So his very first sale of a silver PSA 10 was $755, and basically over the next 2 years it was just a gradual increase, and then of course we went into that COVID time where it was an exponential increase. His all-time high sale was $9,098. These are USD dollars, of course.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just a quick descent, and then it's just been a very slow and steady decline. So if we go back to 2023, it was trading at around 1,900, 1,700, which I actually think is not a horrible price for his card. But then actually it kept on trending even down further from that. So they've been trading in 2024 for 1,100, 1,200. Now, let's go to the last 3 months. This is where it gets really interesting. So in the last 3 months, he's traded at $1,000 at the very start, 1,012.
Yep.
And then a peak sale recently was 2,050. So he's actually up 92% in the last 3 months. So, yeah. So just going back to what I was saying before about that sort of 1,700 mark, I wonder if that is his new basement price now. And this current price of that sort of 2,000, I think is a tiny bit inflated, but inflated for all the right reasons, all the hype around him, the finals hype that's coming on, all that. And that's fine. Like, we sort of know that happens, and it's so tempting to buy into it. I mean, I've been looking at Luka's at the moment. Have you been casually browsing through Luka's?
I've been seeing a lot of Luka here, there, and everywhere. I feel like my concern is around the silver prism is just the pop count.
Yeah, sure. So population on that just on PSA is 2,299.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's a pretty high pop count for a PSA 10 rookie card.
I think I agree with you, but I also think this is where I compare this to the Jordan. There is a heap of those cards, an absolute heap of them. And
Yeah.
if people covet an athlete, the
Mm.
population count does matter. But if it's that upper echelon of guys, I think that matters less. So where I'd go with that is DeAndre Ayton. That's a bad example, but let's just say the pop count is the same.
Mm.
The price would be heavily diluted because there's so many of them and no one's chasing DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like the top guys, the
Mm.
Jordans, the LeBrons, the Kobes, I don't think that matters as much on the population count.
Okay.
So you wanted to talk about a different card. Why don't we do that? I think this is the perfect time to segue into something a little bit more interesting than just the vanilla silver.
Well, it depends really on price points. Like I just think that the silver, because of its sheer pop count, is I don't know about I don't know if it's a wise investment. But looking through Card Ladder, the pop count on so many on Lucas in general, like just like the optic, the pop count is in the thousands. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter which card you refer to as far as his rookie card goes. They've all got insanely high pop counts.
That is undoubtedly true. And then,
so where do you get value?
So there was, I didn't actually bookmark this or even, I'm not even quoting this, but someone else actually raised this on socials this week and they were actually referring to his patch autographs. And I think historically, comparing Luka to the previous generation of guys, so this is winding it back, a long way, but if you take it back, say 10 years or even 20 years back to LeBron, there's so much more even of the patch autograph stuff. So that's automatically where my head goes. So if okay, fine, you don't want a silver, that's fine.
What do you get?
But I don't think that argument, if you then say, oh, fine, I'll buy a patch autograph, I don't think that automatically solves the problem either. There's still a lot of this stuff, Ad.
Yeah.
So what would you buy? I mean, let's just, for a fun argument, what would you...
What would I buy?
He's the hottest guy on the basketball planet at the moment.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a good investment. I can't find another card. I like the Prism. I like the card. There's just too many of them.
All right. Okay. Let me try and create a narrative that makes it a good buy for you. So,
okay.
Let's just say he goes on to win the finals this year.
Okay.
The next year, it makes it easier for all these media heads to vote him as MVP. So now he's got one championship and he's got an MVP and he's 26.
Okay.
Okay. Then you start looking at the all-time guys because you go, okay, he's already got 1 and 1.
Okay.
Could he have 2 and 2 by the time he's 30? And by the time he's 31, could he have 3 and 3? That's a pretty easy narrative to generate, right?
Yeah.
So then you start comparing him to Giannis rookie cards, to LeBron, Kobe rookie cards. He's still very good value at this point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that enough convincing?
Yeah.
What would you buy?
I'd go the Select.
Okay.
I would go the Select. I try and look for
cool. Fun. That's fun.
Something
talk to us.
Yep. All right. So I've picked my card. For those playing at home will be seeing my frantic searching through Card Ladder for it. But my choice here would be the 2018 Panini Select Luka Doncic die cut blue prism.
Okay.
PSA 10, and we're just gonna. The pop count is 60. No, the pop count is not 2,000. Where's the all sales? Die cuts. I have a thing for die cuts. I don't know what it is, but last sold was $990.
Yeah.
$1,000 card. It's a die cut. It's numbered to 249. It ticks so many of the boxes that I like.
Yeah.
And visually, it's a really nice card.
All right. So the pros for me on that is that it's a die cut and it's a 10. So that's if you
Yep.
think about how many more edges a card like that has, so that
Yep.
that is a big and that's a real thing.
Yep.
Pop count is correct. The pricing is delicious. I'm down with that. My only concern for this long term is that with the dilution that we spoke about earlier of how many cards, like total cards we have for this guy,
Yep.
where do people start and stop spending their money? Do eventually those sort of select optic cards start to sort of dwindle out a little bit? And then just people sort of slowly more and more migrate to Prism?
Yep.
That's my only, concern about that stuff. And just for the
Yeah.
record, I love Select maybe more than Prism, but I still need to be realistic about, my head and my heart and where I'm like,
Yeah.
I think Select is probably
It's
at the right
interesting.
price
Look,
though. But at the right price,
yeah.
that's fine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just don't overspend on this Select stuff. So
And that's the thing. Like I'm just trying. I'm trying to get something different, something for value.
yeah.
I also like. I like the silver premier level series. Like the silver last sold for 590. That's got a pop of 230.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Like it's a lower pop count,
Yeah.
and it's not because it's a lower quality product. Everyone just graded the living crap out of. Like, it's not like there wasn't any select product available, but everyone graded the hell out of the Prism.
Definitely.
So I don't know. There's lots of the Prism. I think there's a case to be made that select might be favorable down, like, long term as an investment.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's potential for it to go up due to the lower pop count.
Let's take a break, Ad, and when we come back, we'll talk some more Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk some trades. We'll talk a Luka 1-of-1 kaboom. We'll be right back. Thank you to the Bangman, who is now our primary sponsor of the podcast, Amir and Team Bangman. Thank you so much for your love and support. Find the Bangman on Facebook, The Bangman. Instagram, he's also there. His current product he's selling is the May Bronze Edition 2021 Prism Cello Pack, 23-24 Prism Blaster, 21-22 Mosaic Fanatics, 21-22 Optic Timor, 2021 Flux Blaster Pack, 21-22 Select Timor Pack. So many words to say. This pack is filled up with so much value here. 22-23 Select Fanatics, 19-20 Hoops Premium, 22-23 Hoops Blaster Pack, 19-20 Chronicles Blaster. You will get all of that delivered to your door for $129. Pay ID, PayPal, Afterpay, ZipPay. He offers all these different payment options. If you want to do a break for yourself at home, this is a very, very viable option for you. So reach out to Amir. He will do you a deal. There is absolutely no promo code on discount on this one. This is as good as the price is going to get. So 10 packets for $129. We are back. Thank you everyone for coming back. We appreciate you sticking around. Hope you enjoyed some tunes.
Yeah, and welcome to all our lovely friends that are listening on Central Coast Radio.
Absolutely.
Good to have everybody on board.
Yep.
Yeah.
CentralCoastRadio.com. You will find us there 10 a.m. to midday on Thursdays.
Yes.
Tuesday night, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Melbourne time. And I do believe we have a Sunday slot at 3 p.m. Melbourne time, but that is still currently being moving around, I believe. But we will be moving to that at one point.
Nice.
All right. This next story is something that just speaks to my heart a lot. So this is not so much basketball card related, but it's very much Dallas Mavericks, which is the flavor of today's show.
Of course.
So this is the transaction history of how they put the team together. So Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, 2029 first-round pick and 2 second-round picks for Kyrie Irving. I think we can both agree that trade has gone down incredibly well. They drafted Derek Lively at the number 12 overall pick.
Yep.
Which they did tank for that. So I think we have to also mention they got the 12th pick, but they also deliberately tanked for that. They traded Grant Williams, Seth Curry, 2027 first round pick, top two protected for PJ Washington,
Yeah.
and 2 second-round picks. So that one for me, I'm totally fine with because I think they paid a lot to get PJ Washington, but clearly the Grant Williams chemistry fit just wasn't there at all. And in fact, it was
Yeah.
probably hurting the team in some ways.
Yeah.
The thing that's really interesting for me was they actually obtained him in the offseason and then flipped him on really quickly. So they didn't do that whole thing about, trying to make something work. They were just like, this is a sunk cost. Let's just move on from that straight away. So that's, really interesting. But maybe my favorite is the 2028 pick swap for Daniel Gafford. So there's this whole thing in soccer where there's a heap of statistics available and clubs can pick up players they're good soccer players. That's fine. But how do you mesh together that this player plus this player is going to work well together?
Yeah.
So 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 = 3. And I think if you look at these transactions, that's where they've done really well because Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford are the perfect players to be receiving lobs from Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving.
For sure.
And I think that's where they've absolutely nailed it. The other one too is the Jones Jr., which is not listed on here, but you can't have this conversation without mentioning that. Like, that guy on that team is just such a perfect... He doesn't need any plays called for him. He does all the dirty work for them. He's catching lobs from Luka and Kyrie, so he's still having some fun out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's just doing all the dirty work and not getting any fun time at all. Like, I just love that so much. So, I love all this fantasy, team building and stuff like that. So that for me is... So that's from on Twitter at Esidery, Esidery. So thank you so much for that post.
Yeah.
I'm going to retweet that right now, actually. That's some deliciousness. All right, this next one, the Luka 1 of 1 kaboom has surfaced from 23-24.
Already?
Crown Royale? Well, I mean, look, they've probably ripped about 500 or 600 cases of stuff, surely.
True.
Now, I'm no grading expert. I've already confessed this on a previous show, but I'm looking at this card and it doesn't look great east-west. So I'm going to say this card is maybe kept better raw or a PSA 8. It's up to you, whichever that you choose.
What do you think the problem is with this year's kabooms?
Oh, look, I think what we said last week, it's just a printing error.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that's it, mate. It's just end the conversation. Start, stop, done.
Yeah. That's a 1 of 1. I wouldn't be worrying about what the grade on it is.
Asking price of 125,000 US, Adam. Buy, hold, or sell at 125K.
I'm selling it. If I've got that, I'm selling it, and I'm buying something else.
Look, I'm not going to mince words on this. I think the guy's crazy for selling it. I can understand the 125,000 reasons why to sell it, but I think in terms of having a card in your PC and...
If you had that and sold it, what would you buy, is my question.
I suppose a Jordan or a LeBron exquisite. I think that's the next step, isn't it?
Yeah.
But see, my argument with this, though, is like why it's a hold is because if you look at PMGs from, years back, of players who are not nearly as good as this in, say, a PSA 6 or 7, something like that, right?
Yeah.
The sold prices on these are just insane. Like, it really makes my head hurt, looking at some of these prices that sell. Do you know what I mean? And so if we do speculate that this is going to be the next type of PMG, I don't see why you would sell that because it's a 1 of 1 and like, where do you go from here? Do you know what I mean? Like,
the fact that it's a 1-on-1 and it's literally this generation's PMG. Why would you sell it when you know the appreciation?
Yeah.
What the expected appreciation on it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not dropping anytime soon.
There's a lot of comments on this post, people saying the price is too high and all that type of stuff, and that's fine. Like, it's all in pretty good spirited banter back and forth, all that type of stuff. And I think where I fit on this is that I can't afford that 125K, so it's more jealousy as opposed to what the price that he's asking for. And I wrote on the thing, great price. And in my head, I'm still not too sure, am I actually being serious or am I actually being sarcastic? It's such a crazy price. And again, because of the jealousy component.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think we're frothed over that enough, Ad.
Yeah. All right.
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts? As tempting as it would be to sell it, yeah, I'd probably hold it. That's an impressive card.
It's insane. All right, so let's go to something still in the same vein, but a little bit different. So we're going to do an ultra modern one of one, and then we're going to do an old school one of one. So this is from Card Ladder. Eye-catching sale, 99,000 USD.
So you'd have change if you sold that Luca one of one.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, this is a great comp, isn't it? So why don't we do this? We'll do it as a three-way comp. Flawless triple Logan, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Comparing that to an exquisite collection one of one, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. So we're not exactly comparing like to like here, but at the same time.
Wait a second. Who's who?
What?
Who's who? Which one's LaMelo? Which one's is Halliburton Jordan or LeBron? Halliburton's LeBron. LaMelo's no, you can't compare it. Anyway,
it's pretty tough. Yeah.
Nah. Anthony Edwards is all three. Whatever.
I think Edwards, you would say Jordan, right? Like, there's so many jokes about him being the illegitimate child of that.
It's true.
Yeah, but after that, it's really tough, isn't it? Maybe you would say LaMelo is the closest to LeBron, but that makes Halliburton Kobe. That's super weird.
So so Halliburton could be Jordan.
So there's actually no sold price on this.
I don't imagine if I had that, I wouldn't be selling it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'd also probably have it in some kind of protective covering.
It's crazy, isn't
Just
it?
between you and me, yeah, I'd probably protect it, given it's a triple logo.
The picture doesn't even look like it's on a soft mat, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so if that's sold for 100K, what do you think this Jordan, Kobe, LeBron would sell for?
That card, if that's worth any, that's got to be worth more than the LeBron triple logo. It's a one of one. There's like that's a in my eyes that's multiple $1 million.
Yeah, right. So 1 million doesn't do it for you.
No. I feel like flippantly I would say that's a $5 million card.
Okay, no, that's totally fine. I think I don't have a massive problem with that.
Like yeah, it's a one of one. Yeah. And it's like it's three of the greatest basketballers of all time.
Three iconic, yeah. 3 top 10 players of all time, yeah. In one card. It's pretty delicious. All right, I do have a question for you. Would you take the triple Logoman, the ultra modern one of Edwards, LaMelo, and Halliburton, or would you take the one of one Kaboom, Luka Doncic? That's actually a super cool question.
Oh, yeah. That's a really good one. Both one of ones. I'd probably take the Luka. I'm on the fence with it, but I'd probably take the Luka because I feel like a card with 3 players on it can decline just as can fluctuate based on multiple factors.
Yeah.
So if LaMelo Ball, I don't know, does something that ruins his career, that card doesn't. The ceiling drops.
Yep.
And that's why I was talking about the Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, because that doesn't. Those 3 careers are phenomenal, and they're not dropping.
feel like I'm going to go back on everything I've just said this episode about kabooms. So my argument for the kaboom is that I actually think Flawless as a product in the after sales market is underdone.
Okay.
In that, even if you're looking at vertical RPAs, there are some instances where the National Treasures will outsell the Flawless, which always makes my head hurt. And there's some things I don't understand in the hobby, and I would put that maybe at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Flawless sell for more? Why doesn't Exquisite sell for more? Why doesn't, you know what I mean? Like those sort of top end products, is there actually a bit of a opportunity in that space to pick up some, bargains on that? I do agree with you what you're talking about with the ceiling and, one player dropping it down. And I actually think LaMelo is the one that probably would drop that card down just because of his family injury history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's been injury riddled already. So yeah, I got to say to you, I'm all with you on that one. I'm still going to go for the Flawless, though.
You're still going to go for the Flawless?
Yeah, I think I just almost have to, just for the fact that you've gone for the kaboom, just to be, frankly annoying. I'll just do that.
And what would you value the other one of one, the Kobe, LeBron, and Michael Jordan?
I think 5 is high without an autograph.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm contextualizing with the triple logo.
But between 2.5 and 3, I feel like that would almost every day of the week sell for that.
Because what did the triple logo man go for? It was 2 point something, wasn't it?
Which one?
The LeBron triple logo man. The one that they were hunting.
I don't think that went for as much as
we thought. Anyway, I think it'd go a lot more than that.
Yeah. Definitely it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ad break.
Let's have a quick break.
Yep.
Put some tunes on and people can go and make themselves a coffee if they're listening to the radio.
That's right. We are back.
Back and ready to keep talking cards.
All right. We're going to take a little bit of a break from the NBA Finals and the Western Conference Finals. We are going to keep talking about kabooms, though, because 2022 kabooms were printed straight.
Yep.
So, gold polo kaboom, PSA 10, obviously numbered to 10, sold for $14,750. Now, I think this is going to be one of those cards that the person's going to look back at this purchase and just be literally laughing, forever. I think this is one of the best purchases that maybe we've ever spoken about on this.
Really?
Yeah. I love Banchero as a prospect.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love kabooms. Then we're talking about something that's short printed and PSA 10. And we also know about all the issues that we've had with the current year's stuff.
Okay, yeah. True.
I wonder if when the heat comes off, this year's product, people will start to go back and say, actually, look, I'd rather spend my money on a PSA 10. I'm not going to get it from this product. So do other years become more desirable?
Yeah, doubled up with the rookie year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah.
Look, we're not talking small change here. Like, it's still a very big purchase, but at the same time, I think just looking, further down the track, to me, that is just an absolute home run. So, congratulations.
Yeah, I'd say home run's a good phrasing there for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
All right, slightly coming back to the NBA Finals. This is again from our friends at Card Letter. Jaylen Brown, Logoman Auto 1 of 1 from 2016 National Treasures versus Halliburton 1 of 1. Again, National Treasures. Logoman patch autograph. 84,000 that the Halliburton sold for and 52 that Jaylen Brown sold for.
These are very interesting prices.
So I like the Jaylen Brown a lot more than the Halliburton. Obviously, there's 30,000 reasons why. That's like obvious. But I think the prospect here is that the Celtics win the finals, and then all of this Jaylen Brown that's just been sitting there undervalued, which we've spoken about on previous episodes.
Yeah, for
more than
sure.
once. I think all that stuff just appreciates quite quickly. Whereas, to steal your phrase, that Halliburton is ultimate future pricing right there.
Yep, agreed. I think also think Jaylen Brown's criminally underrated in the hobby and in the league.
Yeah. Well, the narrative around that in the league is starting to change around. Like, I can't believe it's not the first time I quoted Kendrick Perkins. Perkins went on this rant the other day that actually the best player on the Celtics is Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
And that the offense should run through him. I completely disagree with it. I think, look, let's just say that Jaylen Brown is the better overall basketball player. That's fine, but there's a difference between being the go-to guy on offense, the person who creates all the offense, and can consistently do that.
True.
Versus the better overall basketball player. That's like saying Scottie Pippen should have been the go-to guy because he was the better overall basketball player than Jordan. Like, Jordan was the go-to guy because he could score every time down the court, right? But
the offense looked better if it ran through Pippen, or like as a team offense, it's like, yeah, they should run it through Pippen, and it's like, no,
because he was a better rebounder, he should therefore get more shots. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Agreed. I don't know. I'm looking at this post, and I'm looking. Have you seen?
Sorry, we segued hard then, didn't we?
Did you see the card ladder value though? Even card ladder's gone future pricing.
I wonder how that's calculated, Ad.
That said, it's interesting that it's a yeah, I'm not sure how they're both one of ones. Like what basis? Because they were both sold a year ago.
I wonder if it's calculated off
Trends.
The silver PSA 10 trend.
It's a trending thing. Possible. But you'd expect Brown to be headed the other direction.
No, I think Brown's been sliding the last couple of years.
Has he really?
Yeah, I don't think he's had much movement at all upwards. It's all been pretty stagnant.
Yeah. I'd definitely take the Brown, even though card ladder's saying don't. I don't know. I feel like Brown's closer to success right now. And he just won the what is it? Is it the Larry Bird Trophy for the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah.
Like, he got the award. Very interesting.
Yeah, I think those awards are flawed, and I think the easy example to explain that is when Andre Iguodala won the Finals MVP. Like, that was some nonsense.
Rather than give it to LeBron James, let's give it to the person that's guarding LeBron James, because LeBron
to Steph
was on
Curry.
the losing. Yeah.
What about Steph Curry? I mean, are you joking? Like,
right.
I think all those awards. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but geez, take it with a grain of salt. Like,
yeah.
And I'm no Tatum jock rider, but Tatum should have got that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Can we do a very quick segue check-in on Jaylen Brown?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go and have a look at his silver, because I reckon he's on a. I'm not. In the last 3 months, and all right, there was a. Yeah. His silver PSA 10 is actually up 34% in the last 3 months.
But what about the last 2 years? What's he done in the last 2 years?
Let's have a look at 2 years.
And can you summarize sort of 6 months blocks?
There's a resurgence. So,
but he was down, yeah?
He was definitely on a downward trend.
Yeah, but see, and that's where I think that pricing model comes in.
Yeah. So 2 years, starting it was at 465. So it's around about the 500 mark. Dwindled all the way down to, I think it was 250 for the Silver Prism.
Yeah.
Had a slight spike about a year ago. Is that 650 was a sale in May 2023.
Yeah.
And then just gradually trickled down to, it was $150 in December.
Yeah, right.
Right. So this last 6 months, he's now, the last couple of sales, 325 and 400 are the sales. So he's sort of come back to where he started.
Yep.
So he's definitely not a solid investment. He's very.
If you picked it up for 150 though, you would be laughing.
You'd be loving it, wouldn't you? If it was, anything under that sort of Under 300, I think you look at it, it's a good. You're probably in the right ballpark.
I picked one up in a trade for 500 Aussie, and that was I paid comps at the time, and I was pretty happy with that. And I was speculating on future success, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we've been some hardcore high end cards, so let's do some low end stuff, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So this has come to my mind because obviously the Pacers versus Celtics series, Halliburton was out, and that completely changed the complexity and also the shot opportunities for all of the Pacers players.
Yeah.
And look, we've spoken about Miles Turner, we've spoken about Spicy P, so I think the next one to talk about is probably Nem Brand, because I thought he emerged in a really big stage. I thought he played, really solid basketball. And we were speculating about what's going to happen to the Pacers' future. Are they going to bring players in? And my opinion is that it's going to be internal improvement. And we spoke about Dries Walker, but we didn't speak about Nem Brand. So I think let's just really quickly, run through some of this. Now, I was saying to you before about National Treasures and Flawless being underrated, and I've actually found the perfect example for you. So National Treasures vertical RPAs, number to 25. They did it on a 24-hour auction, so that's probably their own fault. It sold for 113 USD. Now, the select number to 10 horizontal RPA sold for 300. So if you're asking me which would I prefer, would I like the NT vertical or a select horizontal? Like, there's just absolutely no conversation in that at all.
No.
And then the fact that one is 3 times more expensive than the other in the wrong direction, to me, that is some absolute nonsense. So that's a couple of sales there. Now looking at the cheaper stuff, so an optic signature card for $10.
Okay.
Select red wave for $250.
Okay.
And a tie-dyed select autographs, that's number to 25. So that's getting up a little bit too, for $115.
Can I just say, when you said $250, that's $2.50, right?
Sorry, which card are we talking about now? Oh yeah,
$2. Not
$2.50.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so unnumbered red wave. Yeah, that was not clear, was it? Yeah. Yeah, so looking at sort of just his rookie parallels, we're talking a couple of dollars each. So the optic silver is $3. There's a red cracked ice prism there for $4.
It's nice.
Is it worth jumping on this kid? Look, I don't think this is a home run by any means, but at the same time, if you're looking for someone cheaper to go in and prospect on, I don't mind that at all, actually. But
it's like those really cheap pickups with
Yeah. If I comp that between him and Walker, I'm probably still in on Walker, to be honest with you.
True.
Just because of the unknown factor with Walker, I just wonder if yeah. And he's had a few things going against him too. Like it is a pretty good veteran team. It's hard for rookies to get play time in that.
Agreed.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do one more quick one, and then we'll go for our next break ad. So this is going back in time. Kevin Garnett versus Dirk Nowitzki. Our precious metal gems that we've been speaking about. I should have referenced this one before when we're talking about the Kaboom earlier. That would have been the perfect segue, right?
That would have been, that would have been an ultimate segue, I think.
1997 Metal Universe Champs, Kevin Garnett, Precious Metal Gems, PSA 6, sold for $32,000.
And this one wasn't coloured in with texture either.
No, this is actually a PNG.
This is a real one.
Yeah. So that's numbered to 50. I'm gonna die on this hill, mate. Honestly, like that Polo Kaboom that sold for 14.
Still the best value, right? That's incredible.
And can I be honest with you? I've got nothing against this KG selling for 32K. I've got nothing about it. I'm just saying, if you comp those two head to head, and look, probably at the end of the day, KG is going to have a better career, but still, I think rookie card versus, non-rookie, PSA 10 versus PSA 6, number to 10 versus number to 50. There's a lot in that space.
The Paolo is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this comp here. Dirk Nowitzki, 1998 Skybox Premium Star Rubies PSA 8. That is number to 25. I got to tell you, that is a very aesthetically pleasing card. I'm not big on Skybox. I can't tell you it brings back childhood memories that fill my heart with warmth. But that's a nice looking card. There's always one card in the set that looks good.
That looks crazy, yeah.
I'm going with the KG on this one. I think that's a sick KG card. It's a nice Dirker, but yeah, I'm going with KG. What do you got, man?
I'm taking Dirk.
Really?
Dirk the Jerk. I'm going to turn this into a Boston versus Dallas thing, even though he's in a Timberwolves. Even though he's in a Timberwolves jersey, KG to play for the Celtics.
I'll buy that. I will buy that. Yeah.
That's it. I'm sticking with the Mavericks.
Yeah.
The honorary Los Angeles Mavericks. Because we're rallying behind to stuff the Celtics.
That's fair. Your Laker
I'm on board.
Fandom is coming out.
This is throwing all my support behind the Mavs.
Yeah.
I do like Dirk Nowitzki though. And that card, you're right, for Skybox, it's actually it's a pretty card. A pretty card, is that right? No.
You can use the word pretty if you want. That's fine.
Star Rubies. Not to say the PMG's not impressive, but both very shiny, that's for sure.
Very shiny. All right, let's go to our last break of today.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about my next purchase. We're going to talk some Tyson Beck. And maybe do a bit of a rookie heat check.
Let's do it.
Depending on time.
Let's do it.
We are back. Are you feeling refreshed, Ad? Are you feeling ready for some more card talk?
I am very much ready for more card talk.
All right. So this is a little bit of a personal segment for me. I just want to do a bit of a thought experiment. I want to spend between 1 and 2K. What is the best value for money that I can spend at the moment? I'm looking at Nikola Jokic. I want to get some numbered rookie card, even if it's PSA 2. That's where my head currently is at. I'm currently looking at the light blue Prism PSA 9 that last sold for 3,000. That's probably a bit higher than my budget.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to PSA 8. No sales data. Let's go to Raw. Sold for 1,400. Actually, pretty recently too. May 29th. Yeah, I'll go with that. That's my purchase. Light blue numbered to 199. Color match. I'm down with that.
What is it? And PSA?
That's a Raw.
It's a Raw. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, which is equivalent to pretty much the PSA 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got for me, Ed?
I was actually going the light blue Prism as well. That was actually the card I was looking at. Let's see if there's a. I'm gonna look. You know what? I'm gonna double down. Select.
You're going with Select.
I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna. Okay. I like the Select. And can I? Oh God. Yeah. Can I? It's probably at the higher end of your budget.
Sure.
But light blue PSA 10 lasts off 2K.
Okay.
The die cut. Is it the die cut?
You love die cuts.
I love the die cut. Love me a die cut. And it's that light blue 199 pop count of 20.
Is it got an autograph on it?
No.
Because if I'm going for Select, I either want a game worn patch or an autograph. Do you know what I mean? So if I'm going to step down in product, I want to step up in something else.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm going to push back on that one, Ad.
I'm going to say it's PSA 10. So
yeah,
that's my pop PSA 10.
Yeah,
is going to be my pushback on it as far as...
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm going to try and sell you on it. Premier level silver. Nah, not even worth it.
All right, that helps me with my next purchase and some thoughts in that space. All right, this next segment is completely unsponsored. This is just us talking about what's happening in the card community. So this is from Tyson Beck at Tyson Beck Design. He's got a new release coming out on the 4th of June. Now, we don't normally talk about Tyson's releases, but this is something special.
It is.
In this release, Steph Curry, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, Halliburton, Rodman, going down the list. I think that's all the players, but basically what he's done is a whole different lot of variants of these.
Yeah.
1 of 1 golds, number to 25, number to 10. There's a whole heap in there.
Mm-hmm. There's also a dual auto.
Yeah, right. I'm not too sure how this works. If you get to pick your card or you're now buying a packet. Oh no, cards will be sold by the player. Yeah, right. That's crazy. So he is just completely stepping up his game here, isn't he? Not just doing like one athlete at a time now. And that is an epic checklist when you read it out like that, isn't it?
That is insane.
So again, Tyson, just keep up the great work. You are making us Aussies proud, and we wish you nothing but the best in this next drop. So we hope it sells out.
Yeah. And when's the drop for the Aussies? It's 8:30 Melbourne time on June 4th. 8:30 a.m. Yeah.
All right, let's do a listener question. Anthony Milne has been a very, very, very long time listener of us. So thank you, Anthony, for all your support. Quick question to all you legends in here. Number to 35 autograph. Number to 49, same card and player. Would you sell at the same price as the 49 value because there's no comp to the 35? Is there a value difference? What have you got on this?
At a glance? Like, just off the cuff without too many details, I'd probably tack on a little bit. Like, I think it'd be a little bit more valuable. I don't know what kind of percentage you put on it.
Yeah.
It's not like a difference between the number to 49 and the number to 10. Like, 35 still a decent. Yeah, I don't know. I'd find a middle ground if there's no comp on something lower numbered.
Yeah.
But the 35, yeah, I don't know, add 10%, 15%. That's me off the cuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd expect a little bit more. That's all. Yeah.
So I think for me, my answer on this is very blunt. The 35 is more valuable than the 49. That's it. There's just no further debate on that. And I think sometimes it's very difficult when you are negotiating with people because people who are purchasing off you want the best possible price out of you.
Of course.
And also don't want to hand over the money. They'll try and basically feed you all sorts of nonsense to try and tell you that, something is not more valuable than something else. But yeah, at the end of the day, a card that is numbered to 35 is more valuable than a 49. The way to actually,
maths, right?
Yeah, the way to comp this out is to look at different cards. So if you don't have your exact card and can comp it to something else, then just find something that's more popular. And I think that's the other thing too, that sometimes we keep going back to the same cards in the show. And I know that's a real thing. And not that we've actually received criticism on this, but my own internal critique is like, we talk too much about the silvers, but there's data points and that gives you something to talk about. You can see the trends moving.
Yeah.
And so find a popular player that has both the 35 and also the 49 for sale. Then you can see the price difference between the two. And then you can literally just extrapolate that out to the card that what you've got. So comps work in many, many different ways. You don't have to comp the last sale price of your card. You can look at other sale prices to then represent that into the card that you've got there. So
spot on.
Yeah. I think that's actually a really good question, Anthony. And it's not a particularly simple answer. And so,
well, when you're comparing anything, you're literally comparing something, but you're trying to. When anybody compares something and puts it to another party, you're just building a case.
Yeah,
it's not right, it's not wrong. You're just justifying the value.
Yeah,
via comparison, and however you choose to compare it. Yep.
All right. This next segment is from Instagram, from Market Movers app. Okay. And what they've done is they've looked at all of the sold listings on rookies from 2023 from Select. So number one, obviously, is Victor, 3.7 thousand sales. Now, the reason why I thought this is an interesting segment is because it's a bit of a heat check on what's going on in the rest of the hobby. And also, we talked about sample size before. This is very, very good sample size. Number 2,
it's also select, which is
cool.
select.
It's fun.
I like select.
Miller from the Hornets, 1,000 sales.
Mm-hmm.
Third is Scoot Henderson, which I'm surprised about at 624. Now, for me, this is where this actually gets interesting. Number 4 is Eamon Thompson from the Rockets at 467. Derek Lively at number 5 at 461, which I think will be going up as we speak.
I think so.
Number 6, Jamie Jaquez Jr. at 379.
Yep.
Azure Thompson from the Pistons at 329. Keontae George at number 8, 323. Cam Whitmore from the Rockets. So how that data to me is valuable is that if you're buying into Rockets and PYTs, you're now getting 2 coveted rookies for that one slot. So for me, Rockets is like quite valuable. Brandon, excuse my pronunciation, Podziemski from the Golden State Warriors at 236. So really interesting for me looking at that. My biggest surprise is probably Derek Lively. For me, seeing a rookie center up that high is a very pleasant surprise. What's your biggest surprise or disappointment in that list?
I wouldn't say disappointment, but the Lively's a bit of a shock. Actually, Miller, I guess is he going to go under the radar? Is playing on a terrible team like the Hornets something that's going to impact? I get it, high pick, but how much have we paid attention to the Hornets all year?
Yeah, so my comp on this is, and it's probably not the best comp, but I'm going to say this is like the LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards rookie year thing where there was so much hype going into LaMelo Ball and there's so much hype going into Victor. And look, rightfully so. I'm not trying to poo-poo either players in this space by any means, but
in the comp is Wembanyama LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
because I think this ends differently.
No, definitely, right?
Yeah.
But where I'm going with this is like, okay, fine. So you take out the top guy, start prospecting, down the list a bit more. Where is the value to be had? And I think you can make a pretty reasonable argument that Brandon Miller is like a little bit undervalued because of how much hype is going into Victor. Small market team. The team was absolute terrible this year.
Yeah.
And despite that, I actually thought Miller played pretty well. And the second half of the season too, you could see he was working some things out. There was definitely some movement in the right space for this kid. So, I actually thought he's pretty promising.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably the other surprise for me too is the 2 Thompson brothers, because both of them aren't particularly highlight players.
Yeah, Thompsons. Yeah, the Thompsons. I mean, Jaquez was not a surprise. He really had a good sort of year with the Heat. I don't know. It's a solid little list, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a fun little Heat check. I think we can say that.
Yeah, yeah. And it gives you an idea of what people are buying and selling in the market.
Yeah.
Select's not the most popular product, but it gives you ratios and numbers to work with.
Yep. Definitely.
And no surprises about Wemby, though.
Vince Carter has had his jersey retired by the New Jersey Nets or the Brooklyn Nets, whichever generation that you grew up in.
The Nets.
What is your favorite Vince Carter memory, Adam?
The dunk competition.
Yeah.
That's literally the only real one. Like, the only one I've got is really, like, I wasn't a massive Vince Carter fan, so... Yeah.
Are you talking about the one where he did the "it's all over" thing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the one that they try to replicate, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the same dunk competition where he literally put his arm through the ring and then hung on by his elbow. That was yeah. So definitely I have fond memories of that. I think I did like him hooking up with Jason Kidd in New Jersey. I think that was very iconic. And probably at that point too, I was having better accessibility to watching games. So I definitely watched.
That's a good point.
And they made the finals for a couple of years too, didn't they? With Kenyon Martin and then... Yeah. I think probably where I like Vince Carter a lot is the way he evolved over his career, and that at the start he was just this, dunk machine.
Mm.
And then he became sort of still a dunk machine, but like a bit of a mid-range guy and a post-up guy. And then he added the three ball towards the end. And then he was still playing in his 40s and doing those mentoring roles. And
Yeah.
like, I like those narratives and those stories. So
Yep.
actually, I'm really glad that the Nets are retiring his jersey for that little bit of respect. And
he definitely deserves that respect too, for sure.
yeah. Now, we can't have a card show and not talk about some Vince Carter cards. So we've never spoken about this card, so let's do it. 1998 Topps Chrome Vince Carter. PSA 9, last sold for $1,000. 976 USD. I think that's kind of cool. The interesting thing about this, though, for me, is the population on it. I'm going to do a bit of guesswork game with you here, mate. What do you think a PSA 9 pop is?
And which card's this? The
1998 Topps Chrome. Don't look it up. That's cheating. Just have a bit of a guess.
pop. We're looking for a pop.
On the PSA 9.
PSA 9. Is that just the base?
The refractor, sorry.
The refractor? 200.
Yeah, 346. And on the PSA 10, the pop is 38. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the last sold on the PSA 10 is 4,900. So there's a very big price difference between the two cards. But again, we always love to talk about different price points on the show. So
yeah.
Do you like that as a buy, hold, or sell though at that price?
The PSA 9 or the PSA 10?
Well, either.
I'm not sure how I feel about the PSA 10. The nine's okay if you're a Vince Carter fan.
He's an iconic player.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be part of my personal chase. But you could have people there that might, and I like hearing stories about people's PCs and they want, and I'll use the example, say dunk competition champions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're putting together a display of dunk competition winners or participants, memorable dunk comps. So you'll have Carter there, you'll have Zach LaVine, do you know what I mean? Like you'll get different people from different eras. So, I mean, that could be in, but I think the PSA 9's not a bad bit of value for that.
Yeah. Look, I think I would probably, because the way I look at this card, I'm looking at this as a historical card. So then I would need to look, more deeply into this. But just off the top of my head, I would rather spend that $5,000 on a Hakeem rookie, even if it was like a PSA 7 or a PSA 6.
Yeah.
Even James Worthy. Like, I actually think, if you're doing a direct comp between someone like Vince Carter, you kind of say, well, James Worthy was, yes, he was a support piece, but he was also a champion too. And I think that's something that, VC could never, get over the hill with.
Yeah.
All right. We got time for one more thing. So why don't we do a listener question, which is from James Gregory. Pick this up from my PC. Hang on, let me do that again. Just need to edit that out. Sorry, Ed.
Oh, good.
Marvin Williams, 1 hour, 3 minutes, 20 seconds around that point.
Yep.
This question is from James Gregory. Pick this up for my PC from Sports Card World in Adelaide last week. Marvin Williams is never at any shops or any stores, so he was very, very happy to pick this up. Question for the podcast. Marvin was in the NBA for 14 seasons. Who else, in your opinion, had a long career without really making a big impact or winning an NBA championship? So, I mean, the easy one here, the clickbait one is Chris Paul. What has Chris Paul ever done? And then the guy we just spoke about then too is, Vince Carter.
Vince Carter.
So he was in there for a really long time and, didn't win a championship. What comes to your mind straight away, Ed?
I was going to make one of the jokes. I'm just reading through the comments. I was going to make the same joke that Matthew Hull made and say LeBron James, but
come on.
We did follow silly autocorrect and say Luka, and I thought it was inappropriate now that Luka's sort of stepping up. So since I'm on the Dallas bandwagon, I'm not going to say Luka.
You can't say Luka. His career's not even nearly over.
Yeah, I don't know. Without having him, well, you can't say maybe someone like. No, they made big impacts. Like I was going to name players like Patrick Ewing or Charles Barkley that never sort of got to that won a championship, but they had impact on the league. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is from statmuse.com. So statmuse have basically, for all those pieces of stats that are interesting but really have no place, that's where you find them on StatMuse. So players with no NBA championships and the most years played. Vince Carter is number 1 at 22 years. Jamal Crawford at 20.
Ooh.
Chris Paul at 19. Carmelo Anthony at 19. Karl Malone at 19. Charles Oakley. John Stockton at 19. 18 years. Joe Johnson, Steve Nash, Jermaine O'Neal, Jerry Stackhouse, Kurt Thomas, Grant Hill, Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh, Grant Hill's a good one.
Clifford Robinson, RIP. Reggie Miller, Terry Cummings, Danny Chase, Herb Williams, Tree Rollins, 17 years, Mike Conley, Al Horford, Thad Young, Rudy Gay, Lou Williams. That's actually a super fun question when you answer it like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's your biggest surprise listening to that list?
Horford.
Yeah.
It's shocked that he didn't. Well, the Celtics have been unlucky, I guess. But...
Steve Nash, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
It's a shame Mallow couldn't get, one ring just to get his name off this list, considering all the other things he did in his career.
True. Very true. Any
Final
current
thought.
players? Any current players? I'd say Paul George.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Of the current, I think he'll play for
a
while.
The list doesn't go any further down than 17 years, so Paul George is not on that list.
He won't be. He's only a dozen or so. But
Mike Conley's been around for 17 years in the NBA. That's crazy. He's in really good shape for 17 years.
It's true.
Hey, the other one actually I want to talk about really quickly, it's also a segue, Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
His commentary has actually been really good. He's really improved in that space.
Yeah.
I used to find him annoying and just super weird, whereas now I'm totally down with what he says.
I feel like he's embraced his role as a commentator. Like he's really not become a villain, but he's sort of.
But he's not
taken
over the
on
top
a persona. Yeah. I like it. I feel like he's sort of. Yeah, he's taken it. He's evolved as a commentator.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Ad, let's tie this bad boy off. Final thoughts. What have you got for me?
Final thoughts. This may be a very short period of time where I'm fully on board the Luka train and wishing Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving all the best in their endeavors into the NBA Finals.
You are a bandwagon Luka fan, and I do not approve of this at all.
I
disapprove.
Self-professed Luka bandwagon jumper. Anything to see the Boston Celtics not win a title. As much as I do like Tatum. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Have a wonderful day.
We'll see you next time.